On the editorial board, we have 2 women and 2 men, and then there's me. So there's a total of 3 women and 2 men that comprise the entire board. Yeah, I think that in Texas and in editorial boards across the nation, there are more men opinion writers than women, but at the Texan that doesn't seem to be the case because there are more women than men. And in the past, I know that that's been somewhat steady. Yeah, at the Daily Texan, I think that in every department we have a strong showing of women in both the editor positions and the reporter positions. Since I've worked at the Texan as a reporter, the editor has always been a female, and there have been plenty of female news editors and associate news editors in the past, and right now the editor of the photo department is a female, and Life and Arts also has lots of females, and I think even in the sports department, we have females who have been editors. I wrote an editorial a couple weeks ago about the gender pay gap at UT, and so we write about it as it comes up, but for me especially, it's really important. So I usually like to write those editorials. Yeah, I definitely think that there's a deficit of issues that are specific to women or interesting to women. I read some feminist blogs like Feministing and Jezebel, but it's sad that I have to go to a specific site for feminist viewpoints to get that sort of information and that perspective, because I feel like it should be in the major dailies. I shouldn't have to go to a specific website to get that information. So yes, you will have editorials about women's issues. For example, wage gaps and things of that sort. But that's not the majority of the news, and it's not a big part of it. And so, but the thing is, there are lots of things that are happening every single day that relate to women's issues. But to get all of that news, I have to go to specific blogs dedicated to that.
I would say it was pretty rare that I write about gender-specific issues. I tend to write about topics that I'm interested in, and it's not that I wouldn't be interested in women's issues, it's just a lot of the things I like to write are tied to the news. Women definitely are more likely to write about gender issues. They will take certain headlines and kind of run with them opinion-wise, whether it's family issues, health topics that pertain more to women. They definitely lean more toward, I guess you would say gender-specific topics. Well, a lot of the background of the writers that we have, I think they're all married with children. I think their family status certainly has an impact on what they write about. And I think it's also just general interest. One of our regular contributors is a nurse, and so she tends to write about healthcare issues, and she tries to cover things that maybe don't get as much coverage in the mainstream media, and a lot of times that affects women.
I think there's a danger in saying that an issue is in particular. Any issue is a women's issue.
Right.
that any issue is one kind of issue. That a lot of issues probably have a way of looking at them, which is how does this affect women, or what does this mean? Because there's a lot of particular writers who cover women's issues. There's a lot of women writers who are then analyzed as an issue themselves. For example, Maureen Dowd, who, sort of over her career has been criticized for, being, a particular way, and it's not just that she was a particular way or took a particular position, it was she took that position as a woman.